Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this beginner's guide for the Insta360 X4, I want to help you get started with your new camera. In this video, I'll teach you all of the basics you need to know so you can just get out there and start filming. I'm also going to show you tons of beautiful footage taken with this camera so you can see an example of what your footage can look like. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jordan Hetrick. I'm the best-selling author of books about how to use action cameras, including my latest book for the Insta360 X4. I'm also just a passionate filmmaker and cinematographer, and I love to teach you guys how to use your action cameras to get the best footage possible so you can really capture all of the things that you want to capture. So let me show you guys what you need to get started with the Insta360 X4. First, let's just get the camera out of the box. Let me show you what comes in the kit and get the camera set up. This is Insta360's brand new action camera, and it's amazing. I'm going to show you guys how to use it. Lift this box out here, and this includes the accessories that come with the Insta360 X4. You can just open up the box and take those accessories out, and I'll show you what they are. In this little protective pouch for your X4, you just have a lens cleaning cloth and also the USB-C cable. And if you open up this box here, these are the standard lens guards that come with the X4. They're really nice when you want to protect your camera's lens. There's also some paperwork in here such as the quick start guide, the safety restrictions, waterproofing, and your warranty card. But you can just set those aside for now. Basically, these are all the accessories that come with the Insta360 X4. You have the X4 camera, you also have a USB-C cable, the lens guards, a lens cleaning cloth, and a protective case that's going to protect your camera from getting scratched and dirty. The Insta360 X4 does not come with a microSD card. So before we get your camera set up, make sure that you pick up a microSD card that's compatible with the X4. You're going to need a card that's fast enough to keep up with those large files on the X4 so you don't have any freezing issues. So now that you've got your camera unboxed, I want to show you some of the main features of the X4 that really take this camera to the next level. The first main feature is that it records 8K video when you're recording in 360 video mode. Now this allows you to reframe your 360 video shots into 4K and still get really high quality videos. Another added feature to the Insta360 X4 is there's better frame rates for slow motion. So you can now record at 5.7K at 60 frames per second in 360 video mode. That's going to allow you to reframe your shots into more cinematic shots and still have really nice high quality. You can also record 11K time lapses, which allows you a lot of room to reframe those shots and zoom in on what you want to capture. And if you want to use the X4 like a regular action camera, you can record in 4K at 60 frames per second using that single lens mode. The X4 does have a larger battery, which also makes this camera a little bit larger and bulkier than the X3, but you can check out my comparison video if you want to see all of the similarities and differences between those two cameras. Plus there's tons of new smart features that I'll show you in this video as I give you the camera tour. As I take you guys through this video, of course, I'll show you all of the newest features here on the Insta360 X4. Also, if you're looking to take your footage further, I've created a very useful book that you can have in your hands for the X4 that's really going to teach you everything you need to know about this camera to take your footage to the next level. Now that you know about some of those great features, let's get your camera set up so you can start capturing some of those videos and photos. First, grab your X4 camera and the protective case. And let's remove this protective packaging that was used to ship the camera. So you can just take that off the front lens, the rear lens, and also off the touchscreen. There's also a little sticker here on the battery door. You can remove that also. Whenever I'm working with the X4 camera, I like to set it down on the protective case just like this. Because the camera has such a wide angle perspective, any scratches on those lenses will show up, and they're not replaceable, so you just want to take really good care of those lenses. Next, grab the USB-C cable and let's get your camera charged. You'll also need to grab the microSD card for this, since the microSD card goes in the same compartment as the battery. This here, what looks like a door, is actually the battery for the Insta360 X4. So when you open those bottom two tabs there, you can just pop the battery right out. And the battery comes out like that, and that's the new bigger battery on the Insta360 X4. Inside of the battery compartment is a slot, and it says SD. So just take the microSD card with the front of the microSD card facing the touchscreen on the back of the camera and insert it in this little slot here. And you should push it all the way down, it kind of clicks into place. And then you can reinsert the battery into the slot. You'll see this little tab goes at the bottom of the camera. So you can just pop it in like that. And make sure to push it all the way in so these two little latches close completely. You don't want to see any red there like you see there, because that will mean your camera is not waterproof and it will get ruined if you take it in the water. Next, we're going to open up this top door here, and that's where the USB-C cable plugs in to charge your battery. Slide this little latch up and open up that door, and then you can plug in the USB-C cable into that port there. Plug the other end of the USB-C cable into a wall charger, a battery pack, or a computer. Once you plug your camera into a power source, you're going to see on the screen here it actually shows a percentage of how much battery life is already on the camera. Also, you'll notice that the little LED light turns red and comes on at the bottom of the camera, and that just means that your camera is charging. It's best to charge your camera fully now so that we can do the update process and activate your camera, and the camera battery doesn't die during that process. You can press pause on this video and come back once that light turns off. Now would also be a great time to give this video a like so other people who are getting started with their X4 can also find this video. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Once that light turns off, you can unplug the USB-C cable and close the side door here. And also make sure that that latch is closed completely and you don't see any red. Water can also get in through that door if it's not closed completely. Next, press the power button here on the side of the camera and power on your camera. Then select the language you want to use. And it's prompting you to connect to the Insta360 app. You can download the Insta360 app for free from your app store. We're going to use the Insta360 app to update the camera's firmware and also to activate the camera. The first time you use this camera, it does need to be activated through the Insta360 app. Next, open up the Insta360 app and tap on this little icon here at the bottom of the screen. It's got the symbol of the camera, and that's going to prompt you to connect your camera. And then you also have to confirm it on the touchscreen of the X4. Now the camera is going to connect to the Insta360 app, and you can just follow any prompts that it asks you for. Once the camera is connected, it's going to prompt you to update the firmware. The app can update the firmware wirelessly from the app over to your camera, so just go ahead and follow the steps to do this. And that's going to make sure that you have the latest features on the Insta360 X4. You can press pause on this video while you go through the process of updating the camera's firmware. And once the camera's firmware is updated, you're also going to just press activate. It's going to activate the Insta360 X4, and then your camera is going to be ready to use. You can swipe up to close the Insta360 app for now. I'm going to show you more about that when I do a camera tour and when we talk about editing your Insta360 videos and photos. Now that your camera is ready to go, let me give you a little camera tour around the X4. First, I just want to show you around the camera body itself, and then I'll show you on the touchscreen some of the different modes and settings. So you'll see on the camera here, you'll notice that it's got these two lenses like I showed you before. And that's because this camera records out of both lenses at once and creates what's basically a full 360 sphere of imagery. So when you go to reframe your shots, you can look anywhere around the image and pull out a shot you want. You can also obviously post it as a VR image, which you can look around the shots if you've got a headset on or on a computer screen. On the front here, you just have a microphone opening, and you've also got the LED light that's going to signal when you're recording or if your camera's powered on. On the side of the camera, like I showed you before, we have the two doors, one for the battery and the microSD card, and one for the USB port. You've also got a microphone here. On the other side of the camera, you've got the power button, and you've also got this quick button which gives you some access to some presets that you can set yourself, or there's a few on here. On this side of the camera, you've got another microphone opening, and you also have this 2.5-inch touchscreen that's made out of Gorilla Corning glass, so it's very tough. This button here is the shutter button for starting and stopping recording. And over here, you've got this button, which you can customize, but mainly it's for switching between the different modes by pressing that button. And on the bottom of the camera, you have the mounting base, which is a 1/4-inch /20 thread, and that's just for mounting the 360 camera, which I will show you guys in just a minute, some more tips on how to mount this camera. Now let's just power the camera on and go through a tour of the touchscreen. So if your camera is not powered on yet, you can just go ahead and press the power button here on the side of the camera, and your camera will power on. The first time you turn the camera on, there's going to be a little tutorial. It's going to show you the different motions that you need to do on the screen to access the different settings and functions. You can just go ahead and pause this video and swipe through those, because I'm going to give you a better, little more logical order to understand how the screen works. Once you've gone through all those motions, let's go ahead and do a real tour of the touch screen now. This here is your main recording screen. It's going to allow you to see what you're about to record. If you're recording in 360 video mode, you're going to be recording everything around the camera, so it doesn't really matter what's on this preview screen. But it does allow you to adjust it if you want to adjust your composition and you just know that you want to be looking at a certain thing while you film. And you can drag your finger on the screen to adjust that. Up here in the top corner is a battery life icon. It's just going to show you how much battery life is remaining on your camera. In the top left corner here, this just shows how much recording time you have left using the current settings that it's set to right here. And if you change modes, that's also going to change depending on what resolution you're using and what mode you're in. Down here is the main setting and mode that you're currently in. So you'll see this little icon right here, that's showing the mode that you're in. And right next to it is showing the resolution and frame rates and some of the other settings depending on which mode you're in. And this icon here just shows a different field of view, so it's just going to show a different perspective of what you're filming. However, when you're filming in 360 video mode, it doesn't really matter because you're going to go reframe those shots later, and you can select any of these lenses when you edit. So I'm just going to go back to Mega because that's their new lens for the X4. If you want to change modes or look at the current mode that you're in, just tap on the little mode icon right here. and you have to tap specifically on that icon for it to pop up. This camera is really fast, so when I bring it up, I have to go kind of fast, otherwise it's going to go back to the regular recording screen here. So you just tap on the icon, it's going to show you in 360 video mode, and you can scroll through the different modes that are available on the X4. I'm going to show you some more about these different modes as we go through this video. But right now I'm going to switch back over to 360 video mode, since that's the main mode you're going to want to use with the Insta360 X4. Next, if you want to change the settings for the current mode you're in, you can just tap on the settings down here, and it's going to bring up the resolution and frame rate, and some of the modes will have other settings also. You'll see on the X4, you've got 8K video at 30 frames per second, and also down to 24 frames per second. 8K video is really high resolution, and what this does is allows you to record a really big full sphere around the camera using both of the lenses. Because of this high resolution, when you go to reframe your shots, if you want to reframe them into 4K as a regular video, like a regular rectangular video, you're still going to have nice quality because of this high resolution. This is going to allow you to get some really high quality 360 shots for VR or for reframing. The next resolution setting you have over here is 5.7K. And you'll notice it's at 60 frames per second. So this is still really high resolution, but now it's got 60 frames per second, so you can get some nice slow motion videos out of that. For those of you who are new to filming, the frame rate defines basically how many frames are recorded per second. So if you want to slow your video down to a slower frame rate, that's essentially how you get slow motion, because your video is going to play back in a slower motion than it was recorded at. The X4 also has a 4K mode with a super slow motion, so it's got 100 frames per second. That's going to give you some really slow motion on this camera. But right now I'm just going to change it back over to 8K video at 30 frames per second and go back to the main recording screen. If you want to change some of the other settings, you just swipe over from the screen here and it's going to bring up the different settings available for that mode. We have some other settings here that are just going to allow you to fine-tune your shots a little bit more. And you can also manually adjust your settings here. You can manually set your shutter speed, for example. But I'm just going to go back to auto for now, and I suggest you do the same. And then you can change the color profile over to vivid if you want some really rich, nice videos straight out of the camera. And then just swipe that back over to get rid of the settings menu. But it's first going to give you a little tour. You can just skip through. I'm just going to go skip right here and show you guys myself. So if you just press this button here, it's going to start recording your video. Now it's recording at 360 video, so it's recording out of both lenses. And you can move around your video if you want to see a different perspective of what you're filming. But because it's filming a full sphere, it doesn't really matter what view you're seeing right there, because it's going to record everything. If you have a moment where something happens and you want to mark it, you can just tap this little flag here. That's going to mark a spot for AI editing to go in and look at it and realize that that's something you'd like included in your edits. And then I'm just going to press this button again here to stop recording. And it's going to save the file onto the camera's microSD card. So that's essentially how you change the settings for the 360 video mode. As we get more into this video, I'll give you some filming tips for when you are using that mode to capture some amazing videos, because it is a little bit different than when you use a regular camera. If you want all the icons to go off the screen so you have a clear view, you can just tap the screen, they'll all clear off, tap it again and they'll come back. Now I'm going to go through some of the different modes to show you some of the other possibilities of what you can record with the Insta360 X4. I just want to give you guys a nice overview right now, but of course I cover all of these modes in my book for the X4. That's just going to give you more detail on really what you can do with this camera, because it's got so many possibilities. So go ahead and tap this icon right here. It's going to allow you to change modes. You've got active HDR. Active HDR is for when you have a really contrasty scene, but you can see it's a bit more washed out. So it just depends on the look you're going for. You've got time-lapse mode, which you can record those long time lapses for really cool scenic shots, and those are going to be in full 360 also. And the X4 records them in up to 11K resolution. So that's a really high resolution. If you want to reframe your shots, you can really zoom in on what you're looking at on the scenery and move your view around a lot as you play your video back. The next mode we have is time shift for recording those hyperlapses where you're moving your camera around because it has stabilization. But you can also do this and just speed up regular speed video and create that effect when you're editing in the app. I don't recommend using time shift video too much, but if you do want to use it, it records in up to 8K video. So it's really high quality also for those reframes. The next mode we have here is bullet time, and bullet time is really cool. Bullet time offers 5.7K at 120 frames per second for really great slow motion shots. Bullet time shots are really fun, especially if you're out traveling or something and you have somewhere scenic. You can set your camera up on the bullet time handle, and as you spin it around, it's going to record a slow motion video spinning around you and creates a kind of matrix style video. The next mode you have is loop recording, which is basically for dash cam use, or if you're moto vlogging, you can use that to record a continuous loop of video. The next mode we have is star lapse, which can be used for recording night lapse videos, but it can be used at night to get those star trails and also some really cool traffic shots and just some fun creative shots at night. We've also got burst mode, we've got interval mode, there's an HDR photo mode to get those high contrasty scenes when you really just want a still 360 photo. And one of my other favorite modes here is photo mode. And with photo mode on the X4, you can capture 72 megapixel photos, so you can get really high quality, high resolution 360 photos. If you want to just pull different photos out of a single photo, it's really easy to do that using this photo mode. If you want to record just using one of the lenses instead of both, you can just tap on this icon and switch over to single lens. And then you've got a few different modes here. So in single lens video mode, you can actually record up to 4K at 60 frames per second. And you can change the ratio over. You can either have a rectangular 16:9, that's a horizontal shot, or you can have a vertical shot, which is a 9:16. That's going to allow you to record videos that are in a vertical orientation for, say, Instagram, for example. But if you record it at 9:16, you can't record at 4K at 60 frames per second. So single lens video mode can be used when you just want to record a video that's ready to go, and you just want to point your camera at an object and just record it. You can also change the lens that you're recording out of just by tapping this little icon right here, and it's going to record out of the other lens. In single lens mode, you've also got me mode. When using me mode, you can record holding your camera out on an invisible selfie stick, and it's going to film a reframed shot. So it's going to be a regular video, but it's going to make that pole disappear. And it does a really good job of making the pole disappear. When you view these back on the camera, you'll see a stitch line. So you need to bring them into the app, and that's going to allow you to see the actually stitched version of the me mode shots that look really good. Then you've also got loop recording, free frame video, which allows you to reframe your shots after the fact. But I don't really know why you would need to use this. If you're going to be reframing your shot, I would really just record a 360 video and reframe from that, since you've got the full sphere to choose from, rather than this, which just has this area here. And you've got photo mode, and then back to single lens video mode. If you swipe down from the top of the screen, you have a few of the more general camera settings. For those of you who are aware of some of these based on the X3, there's some really fun new features on the X4. This right here is AI highlights, so if you tap on that, it's actually going to look at your videos as you record them and pick out some of the key moments and auto edit these videos for you. So it's kind of a nice tool if you want to simplify and kind of see what the camera chooses for you. Sometimes it makes it easier to find those magic moments. This here in the middle is gesture control. If you tap on that, you can turn it on, and then you can start recording by just placing your palm up, and you don't have to press the shutter button or say start recording using voice control. You can just start using that gesture. So that's a pretty easy way to start and stop recording, especially if you're skiing or somewhere where it's noisy, or you have a helmet on, for example. If you're moto vlogging, you can just put your palm up to start and stop recording. The X4 also has time capture, so if you want to start recording at a certain time, say you want to set your camera up at night and let it start recording at dawn, you can just turn this on and go through and choose your settings, and your camera will turn on and start recording automatically. So that's a really fun feature on the X4. You've also got wind noise reduction, the dive case, and some of the more general camera settings right here in this menu. I'm just going to swipe up from the bottom of the screen here to go back to the main recording screen. And you'll notice that the camera is really fast. The X4 processor is really quick and everything happens seamlessly and smoothly. If you want to view the media that you've recorded, just go ahead and swipe from this side of the screen. It's going to bring up the latest file that you've recorded. You can also tap on this grid icon here. It's going to show you all of the different files that you recorded that are stored on your camera's microSD card currently. You can see I've been filming a lot. Once you select a file, you can just go ahead, you can delete the file. You can also turn up or down the audio or turn it off completely. You've got this quick download to the app icon, so once you connect to the app, it'll just quickly download if you tap that. It also shows you the settings it was recorded in and the length of the video. If you push play here, you can watch the video as it's happening, and you can go ahead and scroll around. And if you tap the screen again, it'll come on, you can press pause. And to scroll to the next video, you just swipe up or down. It's going to go to the next video that you recorded. And when you're done using your camera, you can just go ahead and hold down the power button here on the side of the camera, and the camera will power off. You can also use the Insta360 app on your phone or your tablet to control your camera remotely. Since we already connected to the Insta360 app to update the camera's firmware and activate the camera, it should be easy for you to reconnect. All you need to do is make sure the camera is powered on first, and then tap on the Insta360 app. Down here, if you want to control your camera, just tap on this little icon that's got a camera on it, and it's going to try to connect to your camera. It might prompt you to go through a couple steps, and just If it does, go ahead and follow those prompts. Once your camera is connected, it's going to open up to this screen, and you can preview the view through your camera's lens. So you can switch between different modes down at the bottom here. If you want to start recording, you just tap on the icon right here. That's going to start recording a video in the current mode with the current settings. And as it records, if you want to pan around the shot, you can. It's not going to affect what you're recording because you're recording that full 360 sphere. You can also change all the settings here on the Insta360 app. And even though this camera records 360 videos in 8K resolution, everything's just really fast and works really well. Now that you know your way around the camera, I want to give you guys some tips on mounting the Insta360 X4. Since mounting a 360 camera is a very important aspect of capturing some unique shots, the main element that you're going to need to know about when mounting is this little mount on the bottom of the camera here. And this is the 1/4 inch /20 thread. And this is how you're just going to mount your camera to an invisible selfie stick or a variety of mounts. So when you have a mount like this, which is this invisible selfie stick by Insta360, all you need to do is take this thread here and you're just going to screw on your camera. You just screw it onto the top. It's very simple to mount the camera. Now the camera is mounted and you can see that it's in line with the pole here. And that is the key to getting those invisible selfie stick shots. See, the width of the stick is about the same as the width of the camera body. Well, what's between these two camera lenses is going to disappear from your shots and create that invisible selfie stick effect. So you'll see here you can't even see the stick in the shot here. It looks like it just disappears. And that's kind of the magic of these 360 cameras, like the X4, which is an amazing 360 camera, by the way. I love this camera. A lot of the mounts don't have a 1/4 inch /20 stud on the top of the mount, so you will need to use an adapter to mount your camera to a 3-prong style adapter, like a GoPro style adapter like this. Getting creative with how you mount the X4 is really going to allow you to capture some really unique shots. You can use a huge selfie stick like this one, which will extend way out and give you kind of a fake drone shot. Your camera looks super high on this. It's a super long pole. You can also mount the X4 to like your car or something that's moving, for example, and get some really unique shots because it's got that great stabilization and the 360 horizon lock when you're out there filming. With that 360 horizon lock, you can rotate your camera all the way around like this, and the horizon will still stay level in your shots. And that's kind of some of the magic of the 360. It's got so much frame to work with, it can just keep your horizon straight no matter how your camera rotates. The Insta360 X4 is waterproof to 33 feet deep, just like this, as long as you have those side doors shut completely. Now when you go underwater, the videos will not be in focus, so you don't want to film underwater without a dive housing. Insta360 made this, which is the invisible dive housing for the X4, and this is going to allow you to capture clear footage underwater, and you can also get those invisible selfie stick shots when you use this underwater. If you guys need to watch a tutorial on how to use this, I do have a tutorial on my channel. It's for the X3 invisible dive case, but it's essentially the same case, but it's just made for the X4. So you can check that out, and I think that will help you guys out. If you are filming in a situation where you might drop your camera or damage the lenses, those lenses are not replaceable. So you might just want to put on these removable lens guards, and those will protect your camera's lens, even though you may sacrifice a little bit of image quality. The X4 comes with these standard lens guards, but the premium lens guards are a little bit better. If you are going to use those a lot, you might want to step it up to the premium lens guards. Both of those are removable, so neither of them are stuck permanently on your camera, and it's just a great way to protect those lenses. Now that you've got your camera mounted, it's time to go out and film some shots. So just have your camera mounted on the invisible selfie stick and go out and start filming. Because it's a 360 camera, if you're recording in 360 video mode, it's such a different way to film actually than a regular action camera, for example. Because you're filming out of both of these lenses, you don't have to hold your camera like this and film out of a single lens. You can actually film a lot of the time with your camera like this. I'm just recording it sideways, so it looks like it wouldn't be the right perspective. But that's the way you can record with the 360 camera, so it's really unique. You'll see you get some really cool shots. You just want to hold it nice and steady and capture some cool shots, and you can go reframe them after you film your action. Now let's talk about transferring and editing your footage, because this is one of the funnest parts of using a 360 camera like the X4. I'm going to show you how to use some of the basic tools in the Insta360 app on your phone or your tablet, but if you want really high quality edits, then the computer is a better option. To reconnect your camera to the app, just make sure that you power on your X4, and once the camera's powered on, you can open up the Insta360 app. You can go directly to the album tab right here to go access the files that are on your camera's microSD card. And to connect the camera, if it's not automatically connected, you can just tap this icon right here. So these are all the files that are currently on the camera's microSD card. You can actually edit the files even before they've been downloaded. If you want to download the files before you edit them, you can just tap on the check mark here, and select the files you want to download. And then tap the download icon here and it'll save them to the Insta360 app. You don't have to download the files first to edit them. When you tap on one of the thumbnails here, it's going to go straight into the editing tools. So you can just tap on that and it's going to open up the editing tools for that file. There's a few different main modes you can use to edit your videos. You've got an AI mode, which will auto choose some scenes for you and auto create some edits. You've also got the quick mode where you can just actually record your movements as you drag your finger around the screen or use this little joystick. So you can kind of manually reframe it like that. And there's also Pro mode, which is going to give you the most control over your edits because you can use keyframes to mark certain points in your video. If you do reframe your shots and you want to keep those changes, then you can just add a little keyframe, reframe it however you'd like to reframe it, add another keyframe. Then when you play it from one keyframe to the next, it's going to save those changes that you made and make those movements as the video plays. So it really allows you to reframe your videos in a lot of creative ways. And you can do it either vertical like this, or you can change the aspect ratio if you want a horizontal video. There's all these tools down here you can also use to trim your videos and change colors. Once you're done editing that video clip and you want to export it, you can just tap on the export icon right here and you can choose your settings and export your video as either a reframed video or a 360 video. So there's a lot of different tools in here. It's a great way to make some quick edits. There's also some cool auto tracking tools that really make it easy to edit your 360 videos because it's really hard sometimes to manually follow your subject. You can also use some of the other editing tools in the Insta360 app by going down here to the Edit tab, and it's going to give you some more editing options, such as using Shot Labs, which are Insta360's pre-designed effects for your videos. There's some really fun effects in here, lots of different options you can use with the Insta360 X4. You've also got an Auto Edit tab, which will create some automatically edited videos using their pre-designed templates. And you can also tap on here to create a video and just manually create a video with multiple video clips. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to grab your copy of the book. There's a link in the video description below. And also, if you haven't bought the camera yet, I'll also put a link for that down there. Get out there, have fun with your new camera, and I hope you guys enjoy it.